Welcome to my podcast. I know y'all like, girl, where have you been? I had promised consistency. I had promised that I was going to do this regularly. I've been promising episodes and I haven't done nothing. And it's been so much going on that I said, like, I need to get in the studio with this. And I did not, in fact, get in the studio with this. So I'm back, and before we get into it, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room, which is my Christmas tree. Yes, it's absolutely July, and yes, my Christmas tree is absolutely still up. Y'all ain't never heard of Christmas in July? Yeah, that's what I thought. Don't come for me. I just ultimately made the decision, like, it's been up so long, I'm just gonna leave it on. I'm gonna leave it up. Like, I'm gonna leave my Christmas tree up because I feel like by the time I get ready to, like, we're halfway through the year. Like, by the time I take it down, it's gonna be time to put it back up. So I might as well just leave it up. So it's gonna stay up. And when Christmas time come around, guess who ain't gotta put up a Christmas tree? Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, where have I been? Let's get into it. A lot has happened. I wanna say, like, the last time I made a video, it was, oh my God, it was so long ago. And it's just been a lot to unpack. Like, for one, I quit my toxic job, y'all. Yes, I quit my toxic job. I had been at that job for 3 years, going on 4. And I quit. I absolutely quit. I just got a spirit where I cannot settle. You know what I'm saying? Like, settling is just not in me. And a lot of people don't realize the spirit of settling. Settling is when you're uncomfortable, but your spirit is restless. Your spirit is restless because it's telling you to get up and move out of that situation. It's telling you to get up and move from where you at, and you not listening. Okay? So you're restless. Me, myself, when I get a restless spirit, I know that it's time to go because there's so much that come with it, because God has such a purpose for me in my life, and he has such a calling over my life that when I get restless, I cannot find peace, and my peace is everything to me. So when I get restless, I got to get up and I got to listen to the direction that God has given me, and I got to get up and go. So my spirit had got restless. The job itself is just so toxic. Like, really get into it, the job was so toxic. It was so draining, and I'm an empath, so customer service is already gonna automatically drain me because I'm the type of person, I feel everything that other people feel. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's just through the phone, like when people call in, their energy automatically transfers to me. You know what I'm saying? So customer service in and of itself is already hard. Like, I being said, I'm gonna ultimately get out of customer service, but I'm so good at it, it's hard to get out of it. Yeah, like, customer service is already really hard for me, and my job was so demanding on metrics and things of that nature. So yeah, when God told me to get up out of there, I did what he said, and I got on up out of there because yeah, it was time. I could not settle anymore. My spirit was restless. I was going through months of depression. Like, I was having sleepless nights. Literally, I was struggling with alcoholism, which is something that I truly do struggle with. But it had intensified to a level that was truly unhealthy. So yeah, I had to get up out of there. I had to get up out of there because one thing about it, them jobs gonna be there long after you're gone. You're gonna be dead and gone, and them jobs still gonna be there, and they still gonna be hiring people. And one thing that makes people settle is salaries. Like, it's so many jobs out here with good salaries. It's so many jobs out here with good benefits. Like, why would I sit somewhere where I don't have no peace? Why would I stay somewhere where I don't have no life? I can't have a life outside of here because my peace is compromised, my spirit is compromised, my mental health is compromised. But I'm gonna stay in a situation and just deal with it. Like, my spirit can't allow me to do that. I don't know about nobody else, but me personally, yeah, I'm gonna go about my business. So I did, and I got a new job. It's work from home. I be at home every day, and it's been so productive for me, y'all. Like, I literally have so much more of my day. I have so much more peace. It is customer service as well, but it's so different in the aspect of, like, just, like, not having so many demands on me. Mentally, I immediately went to a better place with leaving that job. So this job has been a great impact to my mental health. Like, don't get me wrong, customers is aggravating in every aspect. Customers are aggravating. That's just, customers are going to be aggravating. That's their job, I think, to be aggravating. Just like it's our job to take them calls, it's their job to be aggravating. So, of course, I deal with that. But the peace that I have is worth every doubt and every uncertainty that I had leaving. It's worth all those, you know, it's so, like, you can't put a price on peace. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, my salary did not change. My life did not change. The only thing that changed was that I literally have more of a space to be me. I have more of a space to be, you know, at peace in general. So, yeah, I mean, I'm McDonald's, I'm loving it right now. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was definitely a change, but it was a change that was, any change is scary. But one thing that I said when I left was I'm gonna walk out on faith, and I'm gonna listen to the instruction that I feel like God has given me, and I'm gonna go ahead and do what I need to do and get on up out of here. So I did that, and so far it has made all the difference. I took the path less traveled, and it has made all the difference. Yeah. And if you don't know where that comes from, it's a poem by Robert Frost. Robert Frost. I love Robert Frost. Anyway, so yeah, I left that toxic job. And I was gonna do a podcast for May because May was Mental Health Month, and I'm so big on mental health. Like, even before I got into the podcasting and got into content creating, I was always talking about mental health on my Facebook, which is why I kind of knew the direction that my podcast was going to go into, because my goal was always to share my story. So, like, one thing about it, when you go to social media, when you go on social media and when you're, you know, watching people's lives, a lot of people live very unrealistic lives. I've always been very big about the ugly, honest truth on social media, because you never know who's going through your situation, who's going through something similar to you, and who you can help. And those fake lives that people be trying to portray on social media, like, I don't have the energy or capacity to do that. Like, people really be over here, like, sacrificing everything to live a fake life on social media, and I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Like, I don't want to be a part of that wave. Like, it's so easy to live your regular life and live in all your ugly truths. Like, you don't even necessarily have to be like me and share all your ugly truths. You could just live in your truth, and, you know, it's easier than living in a fake life, because I be like, y'all got it. And half of the time, I can guarantee you, like, 70% of the people that are on your social media are living a fake life. Like, I'm good on the fake life, boo. So, yeah. Yeah. As far as mental health, yeah, like, I had wanted to do this for May, to talk about leaving my job a little bit more, simply because of how much it had impacted my mental health, to the point where I literally was at a place where I was about to get admitted into a mental hospital behind my job. That was when I knew, yeah, it's time to go. It's time to get up out of here. Like, my therapist literally referred me to a mental hospital. That still calls me to this day, y'all. I made a joke about it with my cousins last week, but to this day, they still call me. And I'm like, y'all, I'm good now. Like, I'm not 100, but I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, y'all can stop calling me. I'm not going up in there, okay? But yeah, that's how bad my mental health had gotten at my job. So at that point, yeah, it was definitely time to separate myself from that job and find me something better. And again, it really has made all the difference. I'm so grateful for God for allowing me another path and put me in a position and giving me another opportunity to do something different. I'm so grateful to the girl that worked with me, that allowed me, you know, that put in for a reference for me. I'm just grateful. Like, I'd be so grateful. Like, when I first got my job, they were like, we're so happy to have you here. We sent you a gift. Like, baby, the gift was this job, because I needed y'all. I needed y'all, okay? Thank you. But no, it's definitely been a breath of fresh air. Other news, I got into a relationship, but I'm not in a relationship anymore. I'm literally in day one of no contact. And it's been hard, y'all. It's been really hard. Like, I'm really hurt. Like, day one of no contact. Oh, my God. No contact already hard enough as it is. Like, day one no contact is crazy. Like, I have been struggling, y'all. But you know, I try to learn from every situation, and I try and grow from every situation. And the thing about healing that I love is healing is ugly and it's messy and it sucks. But I be like, I'm gonna be okay because I've been okay. You know what I mean? Like, this not my first failed relationship. Like, if it was my first rodeo, it'd be like, dang, oh my God, oh my God, I'm gonna melt. But no, like, I've been here before. I will get through it. I will move on, and I will probably forget that person's whole name. Like, it'd be like that. And you know, and I feel like I did everything that I could do in that relationship to make it work. You know what I mean? I feel like I tried to be the best. You know, I have my little quirks. Everybody, like, you're never gonna meet. I was telling my homegirl this other day, you're never gonna meet somebody who's 100% what you want. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna meet somebody who's 80% of what you want and what you need. That other 20%, as hard as you try, you can never really get that. You know what I'm saying? From that person. So you have to accept that 80%, and you have to say, you know what, this 80% is going to have to be good enough for me. And that 80% will be everything you need. People have this idea they need 100% the perfect person. And y'all excuse the background noise. That is my son using the bathroom with the door open. Anyway. But people have this idea that you absolutely have to meet somebody who's every single thing that you need them to be. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to meet that. Not even 9 times out of 10, you're never going to meet that. And let me tell you something else. And I know y'all going to be like, oh my God, Janae, for real. But a lot of times you have to build people into the person that you want them to be. And I know, and the reason I say I know y'all gonna say, oh my God, because I know y'all gonna be like, Janae, do not be telling me to build no man. You got to come healed. You got to come ready for a relationship. You got to come healed. I don't want nothing that ain't healed. Let me tell you something. Nobody is 100% healed. Period. Whether you healing from your childhood, you come into this world at 18 healing from your childhood. Then you go through things and situations that also cause additional trauma. You go through relationships where Becky done cheated on you, or Sean done cheated on you, or Shane or done cheated on you and lied to you and broke your heart. And then you get out of that and you go to another relationship, and this man, he might not cheat on you, but he done did everything else to you. It's so much trauma that piles up on you. You can go to therapy. You can do the self-work on yourself after every relationship, and you're still going to have trauma towards relationship. Even if you go into the relationship open-minded, even if you go into the relationship and say, you know what, I'm going to give this relationship a real chance and really give everything I got to this relationship. I do that. I go into every relationship like that. But the truth of the matter is, you're going to have trauma. Trauma is inevitable. You cannot live this life and not come in contact with trauma. It comes with the territory. Your job is to say, how can I heal myself? How can I deal with this in the healthiest way possible? What I mean when I say you have to build somebody into what you want them to be is, people don't be understanding when you meet somebody, y'all coming from different backgrounds, right? So me personally, I come from a background where I didn't hear I love you a lot growing up. I never saw an example of what true love was like. I grew up with a single woman, my grandma. She was single my whole entire life. I ain't gonna say I never saw her with a man, but I saw her with friends. I never saw my grandma with a man, okay? So I grew up with no example of what love is or should be. And I also grew up with an example of very little love was shown towards me. My grandma didn't show love by saying, I love you. My grandma didn't show love by showing affection. My grandma didn't show love by saying, oh, y'all come in, let me give you a hug. She wasn't like that. My grandma the type that she whoop you behind and cook you something to eat. Like, my grandma the type that she wants you to go out there in that yard and work all day. She's going to fix you some breakfast. And when you get done, she going to fix you your favorite dinner. And that's how she deals with stuff. I remember when I told my grandma I was pregnant. I literally told my grandma I was pregnant. And at the time, I had separated from my child father at the time. And I was staying with her. And I didn't tell her I was pregnant. She found out from my sister, who I told my little sister, and she told my older sister, and my older sister told my grandma. That's how she found out. And my grandma really did not want me to go back to my baby daddy because they never liked my baby daddy. So what she did was, I remember I was walking home, like not walking home because you gotta understand where we live. We lived in a woody area, right? So I'm literally walking home and I smell somebody cooking hamburgers. Mind you, I'm pregnant. So I'm like, oh, them hamburgers smell good. To the point where I came home talking about them hamburgers that I smelled. The next day, my grandma had cooked hamburgers. So I say all that to say, the way that my grandma showed love to you and the way that she showed that she cared about you and the way that she showed was, I would say, acts of service, if you want to put it like that. She showed it in acts of service, you know what I'm saying? So she would cook you something, or if you got a good grade in school, you did good in school, or she was proud of you in some way, you might go to JCPenney's and get a pair of jeans, you know what I mean? That's how my grandma showed love. That's the kind of love I know. I never had an example of what love should be like. I just had an example of how I received love as a child growing up. And as much as we can go to therapy, which I have done, and as much as we can grow from our situations, one thing about it, people don't realize your childhood stays with you one way or another. You can either, you're going to have that childhood trauma. It's your job to navigate that childhood trauma and not bring it into every aspect of your life. You feel me? So, with that being said, I'm coming from that kind of background. I'm coming from a background where acts of service is how you show love, right? So I had to learn how to show love. That's how I learned how to show love. Even though I didn't consciously realize it, I internalized that. And so that became my way of showing love. I'm going to do acts of service to you. I'm going to cook for you. I'm going to make sure you're straight. That's how I show love, right? Because that's what was internalized from my childhood. Then, meanwhile, you're talking to somebody who grew up in a household where they may have seen love, but the love that they seen wasn't the kind of love, wasn't what love should be. They seeing they mama or daddy getting beat on. They seeing they mama and daddy arguing and fussing and cussing and going, but they seeing them go to bed and lay down together and get up in the morning and be together, you know, or whatever. So you have these two people who learn two different types of love, and you put them together, you throw them together, right? So you have to consciously teach each other how to love. You do. You have to teach a person how to love you. Sometimes, most times, people are not going to come into a relationship saying, I'm going to love you in this way because you said that's how I love you. You know what I'm saying? You could say, hey, even though I grew up learning that love was acts of service, I love by affection. I love by the way I feel love, the way I receive love is by not acts of service. I love, oh my gosh, the way that I receive love is affection. I like for somebody to say, I love you. I like for somebody to show affection. I like somebody to be intimate with me and spend time with me. That's how I receive love, right? Even though I give love through acts of service. Now, you personally, if I'm in a relationship with somebody and their way of receiving love is just quality time, they might not see me what I'm doing as showing love. And me personally, they're not showing affection. They doing acts of service. I'm not seeing that as love. Even though that's the way I show love, I don't see that as love. You feel me? So we have, it's a disconnect, right? And you could tell a person like, this is how I should receive love. This is how I can tell that you love me, and this is how I want to be loved. You could tell a person that all day, but the reality of the situation is a person is going to come in with the environment that they learned how to show love. That's what they're going to bring into the relationship. It's your job to correct and direct, right? So say you get into an argument with a person, right? With your man or your woman, and you get into an argument. What you have to do in an argument, and people always say, oh, I don't like arguments, I don't argue, blah, blah, blah. You have to, because you might see it as argument, it's a form of communication. And in that form of communication, it's not, if I'm right, I win the argument. If you're right, you win the argument. That's not how it's supposed to go when you're communicating with somebody that you plan to spend the rest of your life with, or that you have plans of longevity with. The way that you have a conversation, the way that you solve any kind of argument is you say, look, this is how I feel, right? This is how I feel. This is how I felt when you did that in that moment, right? They tell you, hey, this is how I felt in that moment. You have to validate each other's feelings and say, you know what, I feel that you felt that. You know what I'm saying? I can understand that. Let's figure out a way so that I can assure you that I didn't mean for you to feel that way, and I'm sure that you didn't mean for me to feel that way, right? and let's work together. And once you start opening that line of communication where you can be a safe space to each other and be able to have those hard conversations and those uncomfortable conversations, once you start opening up that channel, one thing about it, you'll naturally do that, right? So the next time a situation like that arises, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna do that, because guess what? That made him feel this type of way. Or he's not gonna do that, because guess what? That made me feel this type of way. You feel me? You'll naturally start doing that. That's how you grow a relationship. One thing about growth in any form, it's uncomfortable. You're gonna have to have uncomfortable conversations if that's the relationship that you want and that's the person that you want to be with. You can't just avoid those conversations. They have to be had. That's the only way you're gonna be able to move forward and say, you know what, this is the person that I love and I want to be with. So let's have this conversation that may not be pleasant for either one of us, but it's gonna grow us ultimately, right? And it all boils down to, like, people like, how you have a conversation with people that don't want to have a conversation. Let me say something. Only thing that makes a relationship last, and I learned this through marriage, honestly. Like, I ain't gonna say marriage, a failed marriage. The only thing that makes a relationship last is the people wanting it to last. Point blank, period. Like, you have to be willing to work through every situation. There's going to be a lot that arises in a relationship. No relationship is 100% perfect. No relationship is ever going to be 100% perfect. There are going to be things that arise in a relationship, and you have to say, you know what, I'm going to stick beside you. I'm going to fight for this relationship. One person can't fight by themselves. You have to say, I'm going to fight for this relationship. So guess what? I'm going to have that uncomfortable conversation. And we're not going to argue. We're going to listen to each other. And we're going to accept how the other person feels. And I'm going to accept how you feel. And we're going to work through this, and we're going to move forward. And I bet we don't make each other feel like that again, because we already had that conversation. And at that point, that's when you can move forward and have healthy relationships. Okay? But I just feel like with this generation, everybody is, whether you know it or not, social media affects so much, right? Just like when I said that about you have to teach a person how to love you, right? I'm sure that everybody's mind goes straight to, oh, I'm not building up a man. Just like when I said you got to come healed. That came from social media. Everybody be saying you got to come healed. Nobody's coming healed. You can say that all you want to, but people are not coming healed. Trauma is day to day. Trauma comes in so many different ways. Trauma build-up is inevitable. I don't care how much therapy you go to. I don't care how much talking you do, how much healing you do, how much whatever you do, meditating, however you handle it, going to church, however you handle it. Trauma is inevitable. Even the Bible says your days are full of trouble. Okay? So trauma is inevitable. Nobody's coming to you 100% healed. Stop saying come healed. How about let's work together and become each other's safe space? Okay? Let's work together and become the place that we go to when we feel this type of way. Whether it's with each other or whether it's with the world, I'm coming to you because I know that you know how to communicate with me well enough to make me feel like this is a safe space and to help me work through my trauma. Let's heal each other. Okay? So you got to be like that. Stop saying, I'll come heal. Nobody's coming heal. You got to heal each other sometimes. And that's the best part of a relationship. Because a relationship, a couple that can heal together stays together. Like, period. I just think that social media has people so brainwashed in what a relationship is supposed to be. Like, I want somebody who's 100% everything I need. You're never going to find a person that's 100% everything you need. You're going to find somebody who's 80% of what you need and is exactly what you need. And you need to take that 80% and go about your business. Period. But the problem is, you got one person over here giving 100%, 80%, and another person over here giving 20%. That's where the problem lies in. Everybody got to give the same amount. Everybody got to say, this is a relationship that I want to work through. You have to be considerate and caring about the other person. And that's the only way it's going to work ultimately. That and wanting to make it work. And one thing about it, you can't make a relationship work by yourself. Like, that's not a relationship. A relationship is two people at least. So you can't say like, oh, I'm going to make my relationship work. And your man over there saying like, as soon as she mess up, she gone. You can't do that. It's not going to work. It's truly not going to work. And it's so funny because I can sit up here and talk all day about how to make a relationship work. With all my failed relationships, I can sit up here and talk about how to make a relationship work. And I told my homegirl this earlier. I was like, one thing I have accepted is that I'm an apple tree. And one thing you've never seen is an apple tree eating its own fruit. Okay? An apple tree you'll never see an apple tree eating its own fruit. The fruit is there for the other people. I'm going to get mine in due time, but if I can inspire one or two people, I feel like I've done what I've been put on this earth for. I feel like my entire life I've been told I've had a higher purpose. And I always, like, I'm such an empath, and I always want to help people and make sure people are okay. And I feel like ultimately everything that I've done in my life is to do that. So that's what, like, that's where I am with it. Like, I'm gonna give y'all advice, but I just can't take it. And it's cool. It's cool. It is what it is. I'm gonna get mine in due time. I'm willing to wait. You know, they say good things come to those who wait. And I'm gonna wait. But yeah, like, we really gotta, like, stop allowing social media to dictate how we live and what we do. Because ultimately, social media can't live our lives for us. And social media is, like I said before, 90% fake. It's 90% fake. Oh my God. Y'all, I just noticed this stuff in the background. Let me tell y'all something. I went to Ollie's like 2 weeks ago. And no, it's probably like 3 weeks ago. It's like right when I quit my job. And bought a whole bunch of decorations for my house. And you see where they at. I'm not a decorator. I have no sense of style. So they gonna sit back there till somebody come here and help me put it in some cute spots. Okay? Anyway, back to the topic. I'm sorry. That totally distracted me. That's the ADHD coming out of me. Sorry. But yeah, ultimately, you're not going to meet somebody who's 100% what you want. And you have to stop letting other people dictate how your relationship should be. Everybody's going to have a different perspective of what they want. I tell my son all the time, if God wants us all to think the same way, we all look alike, act alike, sound alike, smell alike, we'll all be the same person. It wouldn't be no different people out here at all. But God don't want us to think the same, which is why he made every single one of us different. We all got a different mind. We all got a different set of things that we need. And yeah. And I think that it's important to start in relationships telling your partner what you need. Like, you got to be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations. That's the only way you can grow a relationship. It's just like when you grow, when it's time for you to grow. God always gonna put you in an uncomfortable situation when it's time for you to grow. Relationships are exactly the same. God is gonna put you in an uncomfortable place with your partner, and you have to be able to have that uncomfortable conversation in order to grow. Period. And you have to make the changes. You have to actively make changes. You know what I'm saying? You have to actively put in effort if you want the relationship to work. You cannot just fly by the seat of your pants, and you cannot just do what works for you, because you are not just by yourself anymore. You have a whole other person that loves you, cares about you, and wants to be there for you. You have to allow them to do that. That's up to you. So, yeah, ultimately, you know, it's all about just wanting to be there for somebody, wanting to be there for the other person, and wanting to, you know what I'm saying, have a relationship, have that relationship with that person. And honestly, it's like I tell people all the time. The truth of the matter is, some people just don't have the capacity to give you what you want. They don't have the capacity to. And when I say they don't have the capacity to, let me make it clear, they don't want to. They simply don't want to. If they wanted to, they will. If they wanted to fight for the relationship, they would fight for the relationship. If they wanted to give you 100% effort, they would give you 100% effort. If they wanted to grow with you, they would have the uncomfortable conversations. Now, some people may not know how to grow. But if you're telling them, like, hey, we have to do this in order to move forward. We have to do that in order to move forward. And they're not moving forward, baby, you got to let that go, because that person don't want to be there. Point blank period, they don't want to be there. If they wanted to, they would. They don't want to be there. Some people just don't have the capacity to love. I made a post on Facebook the other day, and it said, if you go to McDonald's drive-thru and you say, hey, I want some wine and I want some pasta, guess what they're going to say? You want some what? Oh, you at the wrong place. You're not asking for too much. You're asking at the wrong place. Period. The end. You're not asking for too much. You're asking at the wrong place. And you cannot be upset with people for not having the capacity to love you. You cannot be upset with people for not wanting you. People be so mad, like, oh my God, why they didn't do that? Like, that person has every right to not want to be with you. That person has every right to not want to put in the effort to be with you. That's their prerogative. You can't hate that person for not wanting to be with you. You just got to make the choice and set boundaries and go about your business. And when I say set boundaries, I mean truly set boundaries. Like, say, you know what? I respect your decision. I love you, because love, when you give somebody real genuine love, it just doesn't go away. It changes, but it doesn't go away. And it can fade over time. It does fade over time eventually, but it doesn't really ultimately in the beginning go away. That's why healing is so messy, because you have to learn how to live without a person that you love. Healing is like the messiest journey ever. But it's a journey that you have to take if you ultimately want to move forward. Like me personally, like when I go through something, like when I'm going through a healing stage, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want no distraction. I literally will put myself in a season of isolation. I go out to eat, but I go by myself. I might go, you know what I'm saying, take a walk in the park. Like I always would love to go and sit by the lake. When I grew up in a neighborhood, it was called Lakes and Streams. Baby, when I was going through it, I would go and sit by the lake, and I would just literally, no phone. I didn't have no phone back then because my grandma didn't play that. I would literally just sit by the lake and just watch the water flow. And that was peace for me. And so whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed, all I want to do is get to some water. I want to get to a lake. I want to get to a pond. Baby, I go to a stream or a puddle in the street. But I need to get somewhere ASAP that I can just sit and be at peace and be in nature and just watching the water flow, watching the wind blow, and thinking in my head, look what God did. Look what God did. If this man, and God is not a man, I misspoke, but if God can create this, he can create this water that's flowing, nothing making it flow, it's just flowing. If God can create water, he can create land, he can create trees, he can create sky. What can this man do for me? You know what I'm saying? And what you have to realize is sometimes when God has a bigger purpose and plan for your life, he gonna remove you from things that are outside of your purpose. Because he gonna look at you and say, girl, man, whichever, because my podcast is for all. He gonna look at you and say, girl, man, why are you sitting in here settling for this? When I've told you I have more than what you could imagine, think, beyond anything that you can think or imagine. I have that for you, plenty. So how you gonna sit here and just ignore what I'm talking about? God will force you to leave a situation. One thing I be telling people all the time, I be so grateful for the things that God saved me from, because I know that that wasn't his plan for me. God will save you from a situation because he knows that's not his plan for you. So when I get overwhelmed, and a big part of me healing is I'm always going to find some kind of water, some kind of body of water to sit by, because I just love to sit up there and be like, look what God did. And if God can do this, why can't I trust him with my life? Why can't I put my life, the man that created the heavens and the earth, okay? The man that created you and me, why can't I trust to put my life in his hands and let him take control? Why can't I do that? All you gotta do is sit still. God gonna tell you what he wants you to do. And a lot of times we'll be asking God for a sign, and y'all looking for some big neon sign, and all God did was drop the little crumb. And he's telling you exactly what he wants you to do, but you ain't listening, because you want to do what you want to do, and you think you know better. You think you be bad. And God will put you in a season where you so uncomfortable, he'll make you broke. You'll be like, dog, I know I just had some money. He'll make you broke. Every friendship in your life start falling apart. Your relationships start falling apart. You having trouble at your job, and you trying to figure out what in the world is going on. God is making everything around you into chaos, because he's telling you to do something and you're not listening. So he's getting your attention. One thing God is going to do is he's going to bring you back to you. Bring you back to him. He's going to bring you back to him one way or another. You can make it easy or you can make it hard. It's up to you. All you got to do is sit still and listen. And I be telling people all the time, God talks to everybody differently. I personally I've never heard God. I literally had this conversation with someone earlier, and they was telling me they heard God speak. And I was like, I would love to hear God speak. I've never heard God speak to me. And I'd be sitting there. It was one day, I remember I was sitting there. I was praying. I was crying. I can't remember what exactly I was going through. I know it was something with my job, y'all. Thank God for deliverance. But it was something with my job, and I was sitting there crying, and I was praying like, God, please speak to me. And I can't remember how he spoke to me. And it's so crazy that I can't remember how he spoke to me. But he did not speak to me. They say he's speaking in a soft, still voice. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear God speak to me. And maybe my spirit ain't ready for God to speak to me in that way. And I think that's what it is. But he didn't speak to me in that way. And sometimes God will meet you where you at. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that I'm in a place to handle God speaking to me in no small, still voice. Okay? But guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to log into TikTok. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to hop on Facebook. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to hop on Instagram. And God will meet you where you at. And God will tell you what he's trying to tell you right where you at. It don't have to be some kind of way that somebody else said. Somebody else has said, oh, God spoke to me in a still, soft voice. And me, myself, I've never had God speak to me in that way. God meets me where I'm at. Just like he probably met them where they was at. They was ready for that. Me, myself, I might pass out. I might fall out. I ain't lying. But, yeah, God meets me where I am. And I've learned to trust him and trust his plan. The only thing that I struggle with listening to God is when my heart is involved. When my heart is involved, I be like, God, no, I will not. Like, why would you let me get in this? But the whole time, God ain't tell you to get up in there. You did that. So, yeah, I be sitting there like, God, I ain't trying to listen to this. And God will not give me no rest. Like, I'm just sitting there restless, and trying to figure out, why am I feeling like this? Like, I don't know what's going on, but I know my spirit is restless. And like I said before, I said that about that job. My spirit got restless, I went on. But when my heart is involved, I sit there restless, can't sleep, can't eat. I'm a mess right now. Ain't that song on TikTok? Yeah, I be sitting there a whole mess. All because I don't want to listen. And one thing God gonna do, he gonna say, all right. And baby, I promise you, I'm going to cry. I'm going to be sick. God is going to put me in a place where he forces me out of the situation he told me to get out of. And it hurts. It hurts every time. But he bring me exactly back where he was trying to bring me in the first place. So, in this season, again, I am isolating myself right now. But in this season, I'm also praying for a spirit of discernment. One thing about God is God always put people around me with a spirit of discernment. My sister's my best friend. That girl, for my whole life, has had a spirit of discernment. I remember it was time that girl told me, oh, that girl you hanging with, she ain't no good. I can tell. I be like, girl, what is you talking about? She is so cool. That's my best friend. Next thing you know, she did me dirty, dug a knife in my back. And guess who told me? God will put a person with a spirit of discernment around me. I got a homegirl right now. I met her while I was working at my old job. I be talking to her all the time. She got a spirit of discernment. That girl will tell you like, oh, nah, friend, no, that ain't it. And I'd be like, girl, what you talking about? She cool. Now, this my homegirl now. And she done told me something wrong with her. And then something happened. And I'd be like, dang. Because I just don't have that spirit of discernment. But because I don't have that spirit of discernment, God don't just leave me by myself neither. He always brings someone around me that has a spirit of discernment. And one thing about it, I'm hard-headed. I do not like to listen. I think that's why God has so much trouble with me. Because I'm trying to think of who it is in the Bible that God has so much trouble out of. I'm going to get back to y'all in the next episode. I need to go back and read my Bible. But it's somebody that God had so much trouble out of that was hard-headed. Whoever that was, I'm them. Because one thing about it, God will pull me back and I'll be like, no, God, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And then he'll be boom, 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 hitting me. And he'll hit me till I get out of that situation. And it'll drag me down. And I don't be mad, though. Like I used to be. I used to be so upset. I used to be like, God, why in the world would you bring me down here? All because I ain't listen. But it's just like your parent. Just like I tell my son all the time. I said I would not discipline you if I didn't care about you. If I didn't care about you, I'd let you run rampant and do whatever you want to do. But I see your potential. I see what you can be. And I know what you can be. So I'm going to continue to discipline you so that I can make you into the man that you're supposed to be. And that's what God is telling me too. God is telling me, I know what you are capable of. I know the plans that I have for you. And you want to stray away from those plans. And you want to do your own thing. So I'm going to knock you down from time to time and bring you real low. So that you can meet me where I'm at. So that you can, because one thing about it, God know every time he knock me low, I'll be right there with him. I get right back into my space. And one thing about it, I know people probably like, oh yeah, you be back and forth. You don't know whether you want to be a Christian or not. I don't care how you feel about my process. My process is my process. Just like your process is your process, everybody's process is their process. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be neither. And thank God for that. Okay? But yeah, God has to knock me upside my head a lot. And as soon as I get down, I go right to him. And that's why I tell people all the time, the Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. I thank God for my grandma. My grandma was hard on us. But one thing I thank God for is that she kept us in the church house. Because one thing about it, I know where to go regardless. I don't care how ugly, nasty, even how good life get. Because you can't always just see God at your lowest. You got to be up there with him when you at your highest too. So however life get, I always want to make God a part of my life. I want to make God the center of my life. Simply because God has brought me through things in situations where I didn't know how I was going to handle it. And I was able to get through that. So I'm going to always, I'm going to always be in my Christian spirit. But yeah, child, God done knocked me low. God done definitely knocked me low, y'all. I'm down bad right now. Y'all can't tell. But I'm down bad right now, y'all. I'm hurt. But you know what? One thing I can tell you about any relationship that I've been in and that did not work out, it's all love. It's only one ex that I hated when I left him. And he dogged me to the core. And so he deserved it. And to this day, if I see him, people like, what they say on TikTok, it's a TikTok going around, you handled that well. No, I just ain't seen him yet. I ain't handled nothing well. I just ain't seen him yet. It's only one ex I hate. But other than that, I don't have an ex I hate. I love all my exes. One thing about it, my love is not fake. My love is real. So if I loved you once, I always got love for you. I just can't. I gotta love you over there. And people be thinking it's a game. I got family members I love over there. Okay? You gotta love people from a distance sometimes. And it be like that. I can't force anybody to be with me. I had an ex one time. And we was together, and I was sick of him. Like, when I tell you I was sick of that man, I was sick of him. I remember I broke up with him. That man went to the car, called me after he got done crying. So I took him back. Mind you, I did not want to be with this man. And I just was so tired of him. I was just, oh my God, just lay by him every night and be looking at him. Oh my God, I hate this man. I ain't hate him, but oh my God, I do not want this man here. I never want to be that. I say all that to say I never want to be that. So if somebody tells me they don't want me, baby, all I can do is accept that. I can accept that, and I'm going to move on. Like, I respect your decision. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? It is absolutely cool. I'm cool with that. Because I'll never be what he was to me, to nobody. You ain't got to be with me, boo. I'm not going to force you. But yeah, like I said, only thing I would say is with every relationship, I try to take something with me because I feel like that's important. That's how you grow. And I add that to my healing journey. And I say, God, that's the lesson I learned from that. So, yeah, a big lesson I always learn, I feel like, is how I think that when we love someone, we are so focused on their love for us that we don't realize that the love was just us. Like, when you love somebody, the reality is all you're doing is reflecting the capacity that you have to love. Like, it shows you the depth of your love. So in the aftermath of that, you be like, dang, I really can love. Like, bruh, I want somebody to love me like that. And what I try to do and what I try to take from that is I am going to love myself like that. In this healing journey, I'm going to love myself just as much as I love that other person. Simply because I deserve to feel love like I love. So what I do is I give that love to me. I give that love to me in those healing days. And that helps heal my heart too. So sometimes you just got to, let things go. And you gotta do, everybody's healing journey is different. I would never tell nobody how to have their healing journey. One thing I will say is, baby, you got to go through it to get through it. That's the only thing I will say. But everybody's healing journey is different. I'm definitely on mine. But I have faith that it's going to be another notch in my belt. I'm telling you, y'all, I don't know what God got for me. But I know that man going to show out for me. Just by my life, the life that I have lived, I know that man going to show out for me. I know that man, that's why I can't settle, boo. I can't settle for the job. I can't settle for the friendship. I can't settle for the house. I can't settle for the car. I can't settle for the man. I got to have top tier everything because I know that's what God got for me. And that's just what my mind telling me. Because God say he will do exceedingly abundantly all that you could ever ask or think. So just imagine, like, I'm thinking here right? And God thinking here. You feel me? And it's like, yeah. When my spirit rests with God, I hear you. I'm sad, but I hear you. I hear you. I'm gonna listen. You ain't gotta keep knocking me up the head too much longer, because I'm telling you, I'm finna stop being hard-headed, because at some point, it get like that. And I feel like God has so much for me. God truly has so much for me. But my job is to stop fighting it. And it's like, you'll ask, like, why would you fight what God planned for you is? It's not that I'm fighting it. It's just that I'm doing things my way. And I be trying to think that I'm doing it his way, but I ain't even stopped, asked him or listen to how he want me to move. I just be moving. And God can't give me what I want if I'm not ready. God will put you in a situation where he gives you an opportunity to be obedient to him, and you won't. You won't do it. And one thing about it, not only have you sinned because God told you to do that, right? But also, that's also telling him you're not ready for the blessings that he has in store for you. So he's not going to give you what's really at the end of the road for you. He's not going to give you that. You're not even listening to the small thing that he asked you to do. You're not doing it. So why would I give you, God to give you, like, for example, my verse, I've been asked for a new car. Lord God, you give me a new car. I do not take care of that car. If you have ever had the displeasure of meeting my car, I be dogging Lil Versa out. Why in the world would God bless me with a Benz or a Mercedes? Is this the same thing? Whatever. Why would God bless me with a brand new nice car, luxury car, and I'm not taking care of the Versa that he gave me? You feel me? You are not at a place where you can take care of what he's already blessed you with. Until you can take care of what God already blessed you with, he's not going to bless you with better. What, so you can tear that up and not take care of it too? You ruining the blessing. That's like me. I bought my son an iPad 9th generation. He tearing the thing up. I said, I want to buy that 10th generation. Why? I said, then I was talking about it. Why would I buy him a 10th generation? He ain't even take care of the 9th generation. 11th generation. That's what I said. 11th generation. I want to buy him. I got that mixed up. My son got a 10th generation. He done tore it up. Matter of fact, here you go. My son done tore this tablet up. Okay? And the 11th generation came out. And I said, you know what? I'm going to buy my son the 11th generation. And I thought about it. Why would I buy my son the 11th generation iPad and he ain't even taking care of the 10th generation? You gotta make it make sense. God's saying the same thing with y'all. Parenting ain't too much different than what God up there doing with us. Okay? Why would he bless me with a new car and I'm not taking care of the one that he got? The one that I got. You gotta ask yourself, when you asking for blessings, you gotta ask yourself, one, am I in a place where I'm prepared to accept this blessing and take care of this thing that you already blessed me with? Am I right in spirit? Am I where I need to be to accept the blessing that you have and really take care of the blessing that you have? And then that'll answer your question of why you're not getting the blessing. Period. You gotta be able to take care of what he already blessed you with. You gotta be able to take care of what he already gave you before you can be asking for something different. God, one thing about God, he gonna make it make sense. He gonna make it make sense. And I'm here to help. I'm here to be his vessel. I don't know if I be saying everything right. Like, that's not what this podcast is about. All my podcast about is genuinely me running my mouth. No, I'm just saying. No, I go through things. Like, y'all, my life is, I'm telling you, thank God I don't look like what I've been through. Is all I can say. My life is a living testimony, okay? And I figure if I'm going to go through all this pain and trauma, I might as well help somebody. So that's what this podcast ultimately is. I don't have all the answers. I'm not no prophet. God knows he is still working on me. I'm still going through failed relationships. I can't keep no man. But I can definitely tell you where I did wrong, where I could have did better, and give you some advice on how to not be me, at the very least. And that's what I'm here for. So anyway, I say all that to say, my favorite line, y'all know it's already winding down to the end. If I pull out my wine glass, drink your wine, and thank you for watching my podcast. Bye, y'all.